Okay, let's get started. To make our multi-line book art, we're going to need a ruler, a pencil, a craft knife, a bone folder. This will give you a really nice crease, an elastic band, your patterns, and of course a book. So what we're going to do is decide what we want to write. Now, because we're doing multi-lines, you've got the choice of two or three lines to be able to make. So what we'll do is we'll write Mr. and Mrs. over 3 lines. The 2 lines work in exactly the same way, but I'll show you the 3 line because obviously it's the more complicated one. Okay, this is how we work out our words in the book using the printout. This is going to be a 3-word book, and I'm going to write Mr. and Mrs. All your pattern pieces have numbers on them, so you want to print out your corresponding patterns for all these letters, and we're going to check each one to see how many folds each letter's going to take. So we know there's 53 on the M, 45 on the R, so the same at the bottom there. 51 for the S, and the and is 57. So if we add these up, we've got 98 for the Mr, 57 for the and 149 for the Mrs. Okay, I've tried to do everything colour coded for you as well to make it a little bit easier to when you come to add everything up. So first thing we're going to do is look for our longest word, which in this case is Mrs. And that is 149 folds. So longest word is 149. Now we want to find out how many numbered pages in our book we're going to need to be able to write the longest word. So we're going to times that by 2. So that comes to 298 numbered pages in our book. So when we come to look at our book, we want at least that many pages. So for instance, this book here has got 408 pages. So we know that that would be fine. So the book I actually used for the Mr. and Mrs. had 432 pages in it. Now we want to find out where we're going to start in the book. So everything gets equal, and we want to find out where we start this M, the pink box. So we just write in that 298. So it's 432 minus 298, which is 134. That will give you know that 134 is what you've got left after you take that away. So but to get equal pages at the beginning and the end, we want to divide that by 2. So that is 67. So we're going to start our longest word, which is this first M here, at page 67 in our book. So we will put a piece of paper in there so we know that's where we're going to start. Page 67. Okay, but because we've got more lines of text here as well, we want to find out whereabouts the other words are going to start as well. So if we look down here, again it's colour coded, so we want 149, which is our longest word. That's the folds. 149 minus our second longest word, which is 98, and that equals 51. So again we're going to divide that by 2, so it's equal amount of pages on each side. It's actually 25.5. Now obviously we're not going to use half a page, so if we go back to our page 67 where we're going to start, we're just going to count 25 pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we know that's where the second M in our mister is going to start. So I just need a piece of paper, and I've written the M so I know what it is that's starting on that particular page. I've written that M in, I'm going to put that there. Okay, so we go back to our page 67 where everything's starting, and to find out the third one, again it's colour coded, so we want 149 in the pink box, minus our third longest word, which is 57 folds, and that's going to equal 92. Divide that by 2, which is 46. So from the start, where our longest word started, we want to count in 46, and that will determine whereabouts our third longest word's going to start. So I know that up to the M in Mister is 25, so I'll just carry on counting. 26, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 46 pages in from the beginning is where the and is going to start. So by putting those in there, once we start folding, we'll know once we get to that point that we've got our markers in place, and we'll keep referring back to this chart. Each time we mark a letter, we can cross it off, and that way we obviously won't make a spelling mistake, which is the most important thing. But you've got all your workings out here as well, so we'll keep referring back to this. I'm going to find my first marker, which is here, and this is where I'm going to start Mrs. Now Mrs. is on the bottom line, okay, so we're going to mark all of the first letter, which is the M, on the bottom line. Our patterns, because of the way I've done the patterns, it says on here 3.5 centimetres for a 24 centimetre book. These slightly taller books are the 24 centimetre, so it's worked out for you that we can fit exactly nice and centrally on the page 3 lines. The same with the 2 line, the letters are actually bigger on the 2 line so that they sit really nicely. Now if you've got a bigger book than 24 centimetres, that's fine, because this red line is the line that's going to line up again along the top. So if you've got a bigger book, you can still use the same pattern, but just don't cut the line to there, cut it a bit further up. But you must remember that all of your pattern pieces must be exactly the same, so make sure you cut them all together. So what I'm going to do is just cut the top of this book, this pattern, sorry, on the red line. So I'm just going to put it so the red line still shows. Oh, it's a squeaky cutter. Okay, so we've cut the top off, or you can fold it over, but the most important thing is make sure all your patterns are exactly the same. Make sure they're all cut in the same place, okay? So I'm going to cut this one as well. I've actually printed this one out in black and white, but it doesn't really matter whether it's red or not. Okay, So I've got the pieces there with the top cut off. Okay, so we're ready to start marking. I'm going to pop an elastic band around the page there just to keep those pages out the way. And we're starting on page 67 where we had our marker. And we're starting with the longest word, which is Mrs. So we're going to do the M first. So as usual, with the same as the other patterns, you're going to get a few pages and tuck your pattern in between. This is the most important part of your pattern, this top line. Keep your finger up there. If you mark it when it's up there or down below the line, your letters are going to look terrible because they're not going to be lined up nicely. The folds aren't going to be nice. That must be on the top, exactly on the top of your page. Now I keep my finger up there so I can feel it, that it's not coming past the edge of the paper as I'm sliding it in. Okay, so we're working on the bottom line, don't forget. So what I'm going to do is get my pencil and make a cross on the bottom M. Otherwise, because I'm only marking one of them, I'm going to get a bit confused as I'm going along. I need to remember that I'm only marking the bottom line. Now you'll notice on the patterns that there are some cut lines as well. We're going to have to mark these at the same time as we mark the M. Always mark these on your longest word. Don't sort of mix and match between, just always mark them at on the same line. Okay, so patterns lined up at the top, patterns lined up here, so we've got number 1 on the edge, and we're going to, as all the other patterns, we're going to mark it number 1, cross it off, but we're also going to mark the 2 cut lines. Now if you want to, you can put the cut lines in a different colour pencil. It'll help you when you first get started, maybe, because you will have a lot of marks on here, and you know, to save you getting confused, you can mark them in a different colour if you want. Okay, so we've marked number 1 and the 2 cut lines, and we're going to turn the page. Okay, so now we're going to number 2, cross it off and mark your 2 cut lines. It's exactly the same as all the other patterns, except for you're marking the cut lines as well at the same time. You'll only have to do that once, obviously, on the first pattern, because when you come to mark the other ones, they'll already be there. So number 3, cross it off, 2 cut lines. Okay, turn the page. Number 4, cross it off, 2 cut lines, and you just go along exactly like that, marking the whole of the letter M, until you get to the end, till you've finished the whole of the M. So I'll carry on doing that and we'll come back. Okay, so we've come to the end of our first M, and we're going to go all the way back now until we get to our spot where we're going to start the second M for the mister. Because you've marked it, you know, you can just go straight to it. Okay, so this time we're going to use this top M for the marks. So I'll put a big cross by there. Hopefully we'll forget about that one. Get rid of my marker. So at this stage we're going to again just mark it in exactly the same way. We don't have to mark the cut lines this time because they're already there, but we're just going to go ahead like we do on all the patterns and mark off this second M starting at this page. So I'll carry on doing that and we'll come back when I get to the end. Okay, so we've finished the top hem now, and we're going to go back to our marker for the and. Okay, so we know the and is in the centre. We've got our little workings out here, so I've done the top hem, I've done the bottom hem, and now we're going to do the and. Okay, so we've got our pattern. And again, I've marked that we're using the centre one only. And we're going to go ahead and mark this one as well. We never cut or start folding the pattern until we've got 3 lots of lines done. Because these start quite a way in, actually, we could actually start cutting this one. But I'm going to mark off the ampersand first, okay? So I'll start doing that and we'll come back. Okay, so now we're ready to start to cut and fold our pages. So I've gone back to the beginning, and because of the way this pattern works, we've got misses which starts first, and we're going to have quite a few pages that don't have anything else on at the top. Now if all of these letters all started at the same time, then I would cut both of these, but because I'm just going to fold this back out the way and only fold the bottom one, I think I'll just cut this bottom piece only until it starts to the next piece starts, basically, till we start to get marks on the next one. So what I'm going to do is take my ruler. The other thing that will help is a little cutting mat. I've just got an offcut here. Don't cut too many pages at the same time. We really don't. We just want a few pages, certainly no more than 10, because the more pages you try and cut, the angle will go off and it's not going to look nice. Okay, so pop a cutting mat in, and we're just going to get the ruler nice and straight on the bottom line here. We're not going to cut straight across, we're only going to cut from well, a bit less than the halfway point. You'll see why in a minute. So I'm just going to make sure that's cut right through. Okay, so we've got that separate now. Okay, you could cut that piece as well, but I'll show you what I'm going to do first of all, because there's no marks up here, it's just going to be plain. So what we'll do is we'll fold this one as normal at the bottom. So pop our ruler on, exactly the same as all the other patterns, except obviously you're going to have smaller folds here because you're working on a 3 lines. So fold that one, pop your ruler above the second mark and fold this one up. Okay, so we've got that first mark, first fold there for the first letter of the bottom line. Okay, now this piece that's left, all I'm going to do is fold it back about, doesn't really matter how far. I don't want to fold it right to the spine, I just want to fold it back 1 inch or 1.5 inches and just fold it straight like that. Okay, and we're just going to fold that out the way as normal. Okay, exactly the same on the next page. We're going to fold this bottom line Okay, and the bottom one. Okay, and then again we're going to fold in. Now what I'll do is just bring this page over so I've got an idea of where the fold's going to be, just to keep them all even, and then I'll fold there. Okay, and we'll turn it over. So I'll just make another mark there ready for the next one. Now I have included in the patterns, I've included little icons, little hearts, butterflies, so the likes of this pattern that's got just a small letter in the middle, then you can add a butterfly or hearts and that next to it if you want to, but for the quickness of the demonstration I'm just going to make it pretty simple so that we know what we're doing, but all you do is obviously add in the extra numbers to make the line, the numbers bigger. Okay, so we've still got some here and we're going to carry on folding these until we get to the blank page where we need to cut again. So I'll carry on folding this and then I'll come back. Okay, so we've got to the part where it's not cut, so we're going to get our mat again, pop it in, make sure your pages are nice and flat, get our ruler, we're still just cutting the bottom one, and get the knife, and again halfway we're just going to cut that, make sure it's separate. And off we go again. Take your mat away and start folding again. Okay, so we've got to the point where we've got our next stem starting, so we'll cut both of the cut lines this time. So I've already cut this one and I'm going to come down and cut the second one. Now make sure you're cutting the right marks, don't forget, you know, you're getting more marks on the page now. You can always use your pattern to check where the cut lines are if you're not sure. Okay, so I've cut those. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold the top and the bottom. So go ahead and fold the top line as usual. It's exactly the same as the other patterns, it's just that you're doing 3 lines at a time basically, so it's going to take 3 times as long. Because you've got 3 words. Okay, we're going to come down to the bottom one now where the next set of marks is, and we'll fold this down. You, like I say, you are dealing with smaller folds that are slightly more fiddly. Okay, and the bottom piece up. And again, so you've got 2 folds now and you've got this piece in the middle. Again, we'll just use a measurement off this last one just to fold that, keep folding that over. There are many ways you can do these folds. You can actually cut the whole part out if you wanted, but it really makes it look better if the edges of the words have got something to sit to. So you can do it flat like that, or you could, if you want, fold it in the middle to make a point, so you had a line going all the way until it starts your and. But I like to just fold it back like this, Like I was saying before as well, you have got little hearts and circles and butterflies and things that you can also incorporate into it. Okay, so you've got your 3 folds now, and we're just going to pop that out the way. I'll make a mark where the next fold's going to be there, and we're just going to carry on folding the top and bottom, and eventually we'll carry on doing that and we'll get to the point where the middle one starts as well, and that's when you'll start folding all 3. Be very careful though, we don't want to go past the point of where your marks are. So this bottom line finishes here, so we don't want to cut any further than that. Even though there's marks up here, we've got nothing down here. We want to carry on marking the rest of the letters out first. But anyway, we can mark and cut and mark. Sorry, we can cut and fold these quite a few more pages. So I'll carry on doing that. Okay, so we've got to the part where we've folded until we've got to all 3 marks now on the page. So if we close our book up, we should be able to see now we've got the beginnings of the top M for Mr. We've nearly finished the bottom M, and we've got a straight part at the back there that's just going to hold the pages, the words separately. So what we're going to do now is we're going to carry on folding these 3 lines now instead of just the 2. So if we pop our mat in, and we're going to cut on the 3 lines again. Okay, again, just always only halfway we need to cut. And just be careful, like I say, about cutting in the right place. Okay, so this time we're going to fold all 3 lines, and this will happen from now on until you get to the end again, and then we'll go back to just folding it over a couple of centimetres. Okay, so that's the first one. And then down to the middle one. Okay, and then the bottom one. So we're going to be folding all 3 lines at once now. Okay, so you should have 3 folds now on each page. So we're just going to turn that over and carry on. Now don't forget, you've only marked so far. We don't want to go past. So there's only a few pages there where it goes back to being blank again, because we need to carry on marking these pages. So I'll carry on folding these, and then we'll come back when we're going to start marking again. Okay, we've got to the point again on the bottom line where there's no marks, so we're just going to carry on marking with the next letter, which is the R. Remember, we're actually working on the capital R and not the small r. You know, you need to decide whether you're doing upper or lowercase. You will also have to remember that with the bottom line we have to mark our cut lines as well. So you'll get to a point where there's no cut lines, so we'll just mark this off and then start putting our cut lines in again. So just carry on marking all the next letter, putting your cut lines in, and I'll carry on doing that. Okay, so I finished the R on the bottom line now, and I'm going to go back now while I've got the R pattern out, because it's Mr. and Mrs. I may as well do the second R in the Mr. So if you just check where your marks end on the top line, and you know that you're going to start there with the R. So again, just carry on marking. Okay, and finally I'm going to mark the S on the bottom line to complete the misses. So I'm just going to flick back to see where my mark stopped there, and we'll carry on marking the S. Okay, so that's all the marking done. So I can now go back to where I left off from my folding and carry on folding now till I've finished all the letters. Okay, so we've finished our Mr. now. The ampersand was already finished, and we've only got a small amount to do for our S, and we've got to the point again now where we've got no markings on the top and middle part. So all I'm going to do is just cut the bottom piece and fold like we have here, but fold the whole piece in one. It's much quicker, but like I said, if you forget and you cut both of them, it really doesn't matter. So I'll just cut this piece. Okay, and then again all we're going to do is go ahead and fold this bottom line, the last few parts of the bottom line. So if we fold this and the bottom piece up, and then I've made a little mark so I know where to go. What I've been doing is getting a couple of pages, just pop my bone folder on the mark and just make a crease there, so the next one is already marked for me. Okay, so now we've got the long fold and the small one at the bottom, and then you can just carry on doing exactly the same thing until you come to the end of the your marks on the bottom. Okay, so here we have it. I've finished the writing now, so we've got Mr. and Mrs. and we've got this flat part here, but I've still got pages left over, so what I think I might do is carry on this fold to the end of the book, and then do the same with the front, and then that way the Mrs. isn't going to be right up against the edges of the book, because if I remove these pages, that Mrs. is going to be right there, whereas if I do the fold like that, it's going to make it stand out more. So that's what I'll do. I'll just make a mark with my pencil so we get it the same, and I can just fold it. So I'll do that for all the rest of the pages in the back and go to the front and do exactly the same. Okay, so I've folded the side pages back. I've folded 20 extra pages each side of the misses, and see the difference that makes. It really makes it stand out a lot more. I'm not sure whether I'm going to remove these pages or not yet. I'll decide that in a minute when we've done the next part. I just wanted to show you this one, because if at any time you decide to write more than one word on the line, this is one of the 2 liners and I've written "'tis the season," you will need to factor in 20 extra pages to fold back like we have done on this one, to separate the words. If you don't put in extra pages, the words will just merge together and it'll look like one word. Okay, so remember to factor in 20. 20 should be enough, but if you need to add those in to your overall totals as well. So I just wanted to show you that so that you remember to do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, I always, with my books, when you fold them, they start to pull away from the spine, and when they're standing upright, they really don't sit properly. They tend to fall forwards. So the first thing I always do is hot glue the seam back, the book back into the spine. So I've got some hot glue here. Hopefully it's ready. Yeah. Okay, so what I do is I lie it down, I grab hold of some pages, put my glue in to the spine, put the glue in a little way down, otherwise it all comes out the top, and then lay my book back down and push right down until the glue sets. See, I've pushed it right into the back of the spine there. Just be careful not to damage the front of your pages when you're doing that. That's why I sort of grab hold of the middle ones and just push them in. It only takes a few seconds for it to dry. Just be careful you don't burn your fingers. Okay, so once that's set into place, it will make so much difference to the finish when it's standing upright. You just get rid of the bits, any bits that have oozed out the top, and then I would probably go ahead and remove these pages, and I'll probably cover this in red on the inside. You can decorate these books however you like, obviously. The thing with the 3 liners is you need to cover where you've cut the page. I mean, well, you don't have to, but I think personally it does look better. Some people use ribbons. You can, if I get this bit of ribbon here, you can just glue a piece of ribbon across just where the spine is. And that just hides it. Most of the time though we use flowers, so like this one here, I've used the holly berries and the holly bough that I've just cut with my silhouette cutter, and then the other one is this one. So this one says Peerless Book Art, and I've used a combination of flowers, some little charms, brads, to actually decorate that with. So you can decorate them any way you like, but here on this one, as you can see, I've used some of the icons at the side. There's a little diamond, there's a big butterfly here, there's a little circle which I've actually covered up with the cabochons. But you can add bits, these little icons to the ends of your words, just to make it a bit longer. Because Peerless was such a long word, I wanted to just make that a little bit stand out a bit more.